like LeBron, or like Lonzo. Ooh, I'm a baller, yeah, shot caller, yeah. They love me, you can't touch me, nah, can't trust me. I'm too lucky. Look at me, look at you, what you see, what you do. Baby, please think it through, drink it up, enjoy the view. MVP on my crew, Nike on my shoes. Might be sipping booze, slightly feeling loose. If I want it, then I have it.
Boom, boom, boom. This is Jared, and I'm back. Hey, I'm super excited to do the Warriors Quest show tonight. If you're new to the show, my name's Jared A. Brown, and I'm the host of the Warriors Quest show. I have the wonderful opportunity to spotlight a kidney warrior story each and every week. And tonight, I've got a great opportunity to do that. I have a great guest. But if you haven't already, please smash that subscribe, follow button. Make sure that you do that so that I have the opportunity to help more people. And that way, when you slap that share button, when you also subscribe and follow, we make the algorithm in our favor where this is going to become more visible for this person whom we're spotlighting to find a living donor. So we're doing this, man. I'm so excited. Again, I get so passionate people and about helping kidney warriors. This kidney disease patient, all right, has been battling for a long time. She is through and through a kidney warrior. What, Steve? Good to see my brother from another mother. All right, so we've got Steve watching, and what I want to also do is I'm going to introduce my co-host. All right, so my co-host tonight is Leon Hammond. Leon Hammond, all right, has been a guest on my show, and he's also been a co-host on my show. He is going to be co-hosting tonight. Please give a very, very warm Warriors Quest show welcome for my co-host Leon Hammond. Here we go, folks. Here we go. Where are you, co-host? Where's that video in? I've got a co-host intro here. Where is it? There we go. There it is. All right, I found it. Here we go. Co-host. Boom.
What up? What up? What up?
Hi, Leon.
What's up, Jared? How you doing?
How you doing? I'm doing well,
great,
man.
I'm
I'm doing
great.
well. Thank you, man. Hey, it's good to see you. Good to see you. So,
Man, thank you for
it's
having me
been a
back. I
minute.
appreciate you. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. Thank you. Thank you. It's my pleasure. It's been a minute, but I'm glad to have you back. Again, so grateful that Willie Blackwell, Elder Blackwell, introduced us, and that we've had a connection because I love getting stories out there. Your story is a good one, and by you coming on board as a co-host, we get to share another story tonight. So
Yes, indeed.
we're gonna bring and we're gonna bring on Liz. Liz, I met on TikTok, and it's a great story. She's been battling this for some time, as we just learned offline, for over 30 years, and she's had a transplant previously, and
Mhm.
now she's back looking for another living kidney donor. She'd like to get a transplant again because she's back on dialysis. So I'm going to play our VIP intro, and I'd like to introduce her, get her on here, and get her story out there. And so, if you haven't already, folks, though, please don't be stingy. Share this story, share this feed, this live broadcast, so we can get this information out there. All right, should we do this, Leon?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Here we go. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I want to give a shout out to I want to give a special shout out to Izzy Black. Thank you for watching. All right, look at
Izzy.
Izzy right here. Yeah. She was watching before when I had you on. She said, and we loved Leon. That's awesome. Thank you. All right, here we go. Here we go. VIP intro. Boom.
Okay, VIP
Hi,
music.
Liz.
Okay, I hear you.
Yeah. How's it going?
Hello. It's going well.
Hi.
Hey, Liz.
Good, good.
Hey, hey, hey. I was over
Well,
there
we're going to
jamming
play
to the
musical
music.
chairs a little bit, off and
Okay.
on. But
Swap
for now,
around.
even though I'm in the middle, when I put you solo, you're going to be the spotlight when I do that a little bit. And so it might be good to have you where you're at right here on the display. But man, I'm
Okay.
excited to do this. Yeah. I've got so much admiration, so much respect for you and your journey that you've had. But what I'd like to do is put you solo and kind of have you introduce yourself. So um, you're in California, is what I understand, and
Yeah.
you've had a transplant recently or previously. I mean,
So I've actually had 2 transplants.
okay, you've
I
had
had,
two before. All right,
yeah, I had 2.
all right. We're talking about a veteran right here. So you are a warrior.
Plot twist. Dun,
Yes,
dun, dun.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I've had
So
2.
tell us a little bit about how this all started.
Okay, so what had happened was at the age of 14, I was in the ninth grade. I didn't have any health problems, like none whatsoever. Oh, musical chairs. Okay, I see it. I didn't have any health problems. But I had a menstrual cycle that started and it lasted for like 15 days. So my mom was like, okay, let me
Wow.
take you to the doctor. Yeah, yeah. I was like the lady in the Bible, the woman with the issue of blood, child. That was me. But anyway, so my mom is like, okay, let's take you to the doctor. Let's, have them figure it out. They ran tests. They're like, okay, my hemoglobin went down to 3. So if you didn't know it was possible for you to live with only 3 units of blood, it's possible because I only
You're
had
living
3
proof.
units. So Yep, I was put on bed rest. I was given
Mhm.
multiple transfusions, and then I was sent home. I was put on birth control to regulate my cycle. They did a biopsy to my kidneys and everything. But before that the kidney biopsy results could really come back fully, I was on dialysis. So it's like my kidneys immediately got knocked out within like 2 to 3 weeks. Immediately. So my
Immediately.
cycle
Wow.
doing that was like the precursor of what was to
Uh-huh.
come.
Okay.
But yeah, and so I was diagnosed with lupus. So lupus is the cause of my kidneys like going
Okay.
out. However, lupus does not run in my family. I didn't have any symptoms. I have not been treated for lupus. I've never been on prednisone for lupus. Nothing. It knocked my kidneys
Wow.
out and it went into remission. Yep, that was
Mhm.
in 1986.
Okay. Wow. Wow. That is crazy. So
It,
since 1986, you haven't had problems with lupus or that you know of.
never,
Wow.
Okay.
never. No, everything that has happened to me since has stemmed from my kidney problems.
Okay.
Everything has it
Mhm.
stemmed from my kidneys not functioning. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna turn the light on real quick. I'm sorry, it's
All
getting
right.
dark. Is
Yeah.
that okay?
That's
Hold on.
totally
Hold
fine.
on
Yeah,
one second. One second.
I'll rock with this. So, all right, Leon. So this she's
This
lupus,
is crazy.
wow.
I mean,
Since
that's yeah.
1986, yes. Lupus in 1986, and that's
All right,
the.
guys.
No, you're fine. Yeah, all right. Very.
Mhm.
That's better with the light. So, lupus since 1986, and because of my involvement in kidney disease, I've interviewed many kidney patients with lupus. So
Mhm.
Steve, the kidney nurse, he's commenting right here. I wonder if the lupus was from environmental factors. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I don't know that you'll never
Could
ever
be,
know
but
the answer, really.
yeah, but my family was tested, my siblings, my parents. No one in my family has lupus, but lupus can skip generations. So it could
Okay.
be my grandparents, like back in
Sure.
Alabama or Louisiana, that
Hmm.
had it, and it just trickled down to me. So it doesn't necessarily like have to be your environment. It could just it's genetic. Lupus is genetic, so it could skip generations. So
Gotcha.
we just chalked it up to that. I'm the lucky winner. I was the lucky one.
Gotcha.
I don't know
So
about
no, so
luck.
no specific cause. Just, I mean, I know you said it went into remission immediately after. No specific cause of the lupus that you've ever, been told
No.
anything. Okay.
Mm-mm. Nope.
All right.
Wow. Well, I do have a dear friend in the lupus family. It's Emmett Henderson the third, and he's from he lives in San Diego, California. So great guy, and he's had a transplant, and now he's back on dialysis, and just a great guy. And
Oh, okay.
yeah, so it's at any rate. So Liz, in the how long has it been since your last transplant? How long have you been back on dialysis?
So, my last transplant failed May 30th, 2014. So that was the first day I went back on dialysis. So
Okay.
I got the kidney in June 2011, and I
Hmm.
had it for 3 years,
3
and I
years.
went back on dialysis May 2014. So I've been
Okay.
back on dialysis since 2014. So
Okay.
I started dialysis when I was 14. I dialyzed for 4 years. When I first started, I dialyzed like 4.5 hours. So that just gives you an idea of how toxic I was. 4.5 hours, 3 days a week, and I was in high school. Then I got my first transplant when I was 19,
19.
and
That's so young.
yeah,
Hmm.
that transplant lasted 6 years. July 14th, 1990 is when I got it. It lasted 6 years. However, it started to reject 3 months after I got it, and I was able to keep it 6 years. So
Okay.
that was a blessing. And also, dun, 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 plot twist. In order for them to save the kidney, they gave me high doses of steroids. The high doses of steroids deteriorated the bone in my hip, and I had to have my hip replaced.
Oh my
Not once,
That
God.
happened. Yeah.
not once, guys,
No.
not twice, but 3 times. So my left
What?
hip has been replaced three
What? You've
times.
had three hip replacements.
On one hip.
Three total hips, and I'm still popping. Look on my
Oh
page. I'm
my
still dancing.
gosh.
So I got a question
Wow.
because I've never, I haven't gotten to a point where I've had to do dialysis or anything like that.
Okay.
Um, how would you say your body reacted to dialysis at that younger age versus how you're reacting to it now?
Ooh,
Um,
that's an excellent question. Okay. So at the younger age, I was sick. I'm gonna be honest with you because my heart had enlarged. My mom said when they hooked me up and put me on my first dialysis treatment, they had to stop the machine because I was vomiting blood and I had diarrhea. I couldn't
Wow.
even do 30 minutes of dialysis. So I'm just
Wow.
giving you like an
Wow.
example from when I started.
mhm.
So I felt fatigue, but I
Mhm.
pushed myself through because in my brain I wanted to be normal. I wanted to be like the other kids. So I was
Sure.
tired, but I only slept like all day on the weekends. So I was
Mhm.
tired. When I say tired, I was tired. So I was tired in the beginning. Okay,
Yeah.
so fast forward to now. I've had 2 transplants. What transplants allow you to do if they work for any length of time, they give you a break. They give your body a chance to be cleaned out. It gives your creatinine a chance to get stabilized, come
Mhm.
lower. So even if you go back on dialysis, you're not going to be fatigued. You're not going to
Mm-hmm.
be tired. It's not going to be the same. You're going to get off dialysis and you're going to get on a plane. Like that's what I used to do all the time. In July, before I switched from hemodialysis to peritoneal dialysis, I went to the Essence Festival. They wanted to start training me for peritoneal, and I was like, wait, let me go to New Orleans and see Janet
Mm-hmm.
Jackson. Then when I come back, y'all can start training me. Because I was like, I didn't know what peritoneal was going to do. I know hemo like the back of my hand. I know how I feel doing hemo, but I didn't know what peritoneal would bring. So I was like, okay, let me go take this trip. And then when I come back, then I'll switch to peritoneal. But now that I'm on peritoneal, it's really go time now. Like the only fatigue I've ever felt is in that beginning. When I first started dialysis, I felt fatigue then. This
Okay.
is like this is going on year 37. I don't feel any fatigue. I don't feel like after I get dressed, I need to take a nap. I know a lot of people deal with fatigue, and I think when you just start dialysis,
Yeah.
you may have that fatigue, depending on your function, like your creatinine and all that. But remember, I think it has to do with your mindset. It has to do with your attitude. If you think you're fatigued,
Okay.
sometimes you will feel fatigue. You know what I mean? You just got to stay positive and just push yourself through it, because if you tell yourself you can't, you won't.
That's real.
That's
But
powerful.
it's mind over matter. I remember I did not. I'm gonna give you an example. There's a nurse. She had been my nurse since I was young. Her name is Dieta Champ. Hey Dieta, if you watching. I thought that I couldn't work, right? When my transplant kidney stopped working, I was like, well, I'm not gonna work. I'm gonna be disabled. I'm just gonna be on dialysis. This was in 1996. And she said, look, you've been off work 6 months. Okay, your kidney stopped working. You can go back to work now. And I was like, what? But it's like I didn't think I could go back to work until she said, hey, go back to work. And do you know, she was like,
Okay.
my daughter's job is hiring. I went, put in the application, they hired me, and I've been working ever since. I catapulted off that job, got my credential, went into teaching, and have been working ever since. But had she not
Wow.
said, hey, get up and go to work, I would not have gone back to work. So that's how I know it's your mindset. It's what you tell yourself you can and cannot do. You can work. Yes, you can. Everybody not. You can
Mhm.
work. You just have to push
No.
yourself. Maybe you can't work full time. Okay, maybe you can't walk to the corner right now, but every day set a goal that you're going to walk to the corner. And guess what? You're going to reach the goal to walk to the corner. But if you're sitting on the couch watching Netflix, you're not going to make it to the corner. Mind over matter.
That's real. That's real.
Right. Right. Yeah. That's true.
Willie Blackwell
Hey,
just
so I've
said
got.
mind over
I want
matter
to give a
too.
shout out. Yes. 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 I was just gonna say that. Thank you. Yeah. I love that.
Mind over matter, mind over matter. So yeah, so it was I was on dialysis 4 years. I got a kidney, it lasted 6 years. I went back to dialysis for 15 years straight. And then I got another kidney in 2011. That kidney lasted
Okay.
3 years, and then I've been back on since 2014.
Okay.
So that's my whole roller coaster.
I wanted to ask
That
this,
is a
not to
roller
cut Jared off.
coaster.
I just had a quick question for you. Jared, if I'm getting ahead of myself, I'm sorry. I know the kidneys rejected at some point, and I know that's always a possibility. I've learned that in my brief, understanding of this. Did they say why, in particular it rejected, after, that period of time? And before I go there, was it a living donor or a deceased donor for you for
Okay,
your
so both were deceased donors.
okay.
The first one, they don't know why it rejected. Even they were surprised because it was like a 4 out of 6 match with the tissue types.
Oh,
Um,
wow. It
yeah,
was a good match
so
then.
they were really shocked. The second one, and I'm gonna be like brutally honest right here. Okay, is it okay?
Come on with it.
Yeah.
Give it to
All
us.
right, here we go. When you have a transplant, if it rejects, they leave them in, right? I don't know if people know that they leave them
Right.
in your body. Okay, so if they aren't doing anything, they leave them there, and the reason why they leave them is to keep your antibodies down. Okay.
Yes.
Unfortunately, when my transplants would act up, I would start like urinating blood. They would start causing pain, so they would take them out. When they take them
Mm,
out, your antibodies get excited because they don't have any place to go because you took the
Mm-hmm.
host. So now they're in your body. Hey, pop,
Right.
lock, and drop it. Like they all over the place, right? And your numbers
Right.
go
Right.
up. So with each episode, your numbers go up. I had H. pylori virus. I had to keep getting blood transfusions. My numbers went up. I kept getting the nosebleeds. I had to get more blood transfusions. My numbers went up. So now, guess what? I'm 100% with my antibodies now.
Okay. Your PRA.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Your
So in
PRA.
order for me, to get a transplant, I have to be desensitized. So before I got my second
Yes.
transplant, I did the desensitization with the plasmapheresis, the IVIG,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
the retux. Okay, so I got my second kidney.
Yes.
I was excited, but when you get when you're highly sensitized and you got to go through treatments to get a kidney like that, you got to look at it. They're playing God because if you're 100%, your body's 100% against you getting a transplant, and you're gonna do it anyway. So
mm.
you got to think about that. So once they put the kidney in you, whatever needs to be done to keep it going, you have signed up for. And what they do to keep it going, I'm not willing to do that anymore. I just came to that realization yesterday because when had my second transplant, I was like sick as a dog those 3 years. I mean, when I say sick as a dog, I had
Yeah.
pneumonia PCP. Look that up. That's the pneumonia that AIDS patients get.
Wow.
But the
Mm.
immunosuppressant drugs
Wow.
pulled
Wow.
that out. I had C. diff. I had a retropharyngeal abscess. I was in ICU with a tube down my throat. Yeah, that's all from the drugs.
Wow.
I
Wow.
I ended up with kidney cancer in my native kidneys. Cancer doesn't run in my family. I had my kidneys.
Oh my gosh,
So
Liz. Wow.
so when I decided to do the third transplant, I had to do all the tests, right? So I thought,
Mm-hmm.
silly me, I thought they were routine. So they said do a CT scan with, how they shoot the dye and do the images. So I'm
Okay.
like, oh, it's routine. I
Okay.
did it last time. But this time they said, oh, we see some white spots on your native kidneys. And I'm thinking, why are my native kidneys doing anything? They in there dried up since 1986. Why are they getting
Right.
jiggy right now?
Yeah.
So then they go, well, we need to go in there and we need to, look at. I'm like, look at it for what? Look for what? Guess what? They said, okay, we just gonna take them out. They have 0% function. We just gonna take them out. I'm like, okay, cool beans. And they did it via laparoscopy. So I was only off work for like a couple of weeks. Went back
Mm-hmm.
to work. When it came back from pathology, it
Mm-hmm.
tested positive for cancer. It was
Mm.
only small
Oh my
little
gosh.
millimeters. It was too small to biopsy.
Wow.
So if they did not take them out, I would have
Really?
had kidney cancer. Where'd that come from? Cancer don't run in my family. Guess where it came from, y'all? Y'all know where it
Wow.
came from.
The
The
medications.
Yeah. Yep.
immunosuppressant drug.
Immunosuppressant.
So
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah.
to anybody on dialysis, I'm not deterring you. Okay. I don't want to deter anybody from getting a transplant because I will never take back what I did. Because what the transplant did is give me a break. On your first transplant, you know, your bells and whistles. Oh, you just can't wait. When if they have to take your kidney out and you got to do a second one, you got to start thinking about your antibodies and you got to try to think, do you want to go back and put yourself through that? I thought I did. So I did do it the second time. Now, the third time, I'm at the top of the list because of when I started. So I can kick people off and take your spot, basically, because I'm at the top. So once I'm desensitized, if the kidney comes up and it looks great, I'm going to get it before you. But guess what?
Right,
I don't
right.
want it. So I don't want it. So you guys can have that.
Yeah.
No, they
I feel you.
they just called me yesterday and said I could start the process. So literally, this
Mhm.
is hot off the press. I just made this decision yesterday after I've been on TikTok these last 30 days hearing about people who had transplants. And I think I read something. Somebody has been on the immunosuppressants for 30 years and he has cancer on his nose. And he was saying he had to have another surgery to have skin grafted on his nose. It's like, I have read so many
Yeah,
things in this last 30
right.
days. It has deterred me from doing it. I was about to start my desensitization next week, and I told them
Yeah.
today to put it on hold.
Wow.
The only way, me personally, I will get another transplant is if we find that black unicorn. The black unicorn is a kidney that matches me perfectly and it doesn't need to be desensitized. I will get treatment after I get the kidney, but I don't need anything before. Now, if I
Mhm.
find the black unicorn, maybe.
You're
But
good.
if
Yeah,
not,
you're thinking about it.
we're just going to ride out PD for as long as God says, because, you know, He has the final say. My faith in God is strong, and it has got me as far as I have gotten. So I'm just going to ride that out because I just started PD and I'm doing great. I think dialyzing every day is definitely the key. Is for me, is definitely the key. I've used all my arms. I don't know if you've seen my videos. I don't have any more arms. I had a fistula here on my left lower
Mhm.
arm. That was 2 years. I got an aneurysm. I moved it to my right lower arm. I kept that fistula 28 years. It started stealing from my
Wow.
hand. We went up on the right arm. I got another fistula
Good.
up here. It was doing great.
Mhm.
I got an aneurysm. That
Oh my
aneurysm
gosh.
popped. The
Can you
aneurysm
believe this,
popped,
Leon?
This
but
is taking it
luckily,
in.
luckily, I was able to
Wow.
put pressure on that aneurysm and stop it. And I drove myself to urgent care. The people thought I was crazy. When I got to urgent care, ER is across the street. And they said, "Oh no, you need to go to ER." I said, "I'll drive myself." They said, "No, we will get an ambulance to drive you across the street." You guys, that's when I realized how serious it was. I drove
Mhm.
myself 20 minutes with a
Wow,
band-aid,
wow.
with a band-aid on, with a
Wow.
band-aid.
Yeah,
When
wow.
I tell you God got me, God got me. I should make t-shirts that say God got me because you got
We got you. We got you
yep,
for sure.
Yeah, he
yep.
does,
And
yeah, he
they
does.
they they put me in an ambulance and drove me across the street. So then
Hmm.
my doctor, he says, "Hey, we can do graft." Now I've never had a graft. I got my first graft like 3 years ago. I had never had a graft
Okay,
ever.
yeah.
So they put a graft in up here and aneurysm. He took it out, rerouted. I can give you another one. He put another graft in
Incredible.
aneurysm. He took it out. Then
Yeah,
he said, "Okay, I can give you a hero catheter." So hero catheter I got next. The hero catheter is, I don't know if you can see, I'm gonna try to get close. It's a graft
mhm.
and a catheter together. So they
Okay.
run a line in your neck and it hooks in your arm to your graft. I got
Hmm.
that. Now
Okay.
that's like
Wow.
sticking a hanger down your neck. Okay, just imagine somebody shoving a hanger down your neck, but the hanger stays. Okay, that's
That
how
did
I
not
was.
feel good.
It did
Yeah.
not feel good. But and guess what happened? Aneurysm.
What
Aneurysm.
happened? Oh my
Aneurysm.
gosh.
Listen,
Aneurysm. So
listen.
Wow.
they
Wow.
put my thigh, and then they said, "Okay, you know what we can do? We can go in, and there's one more spot on your arm." I said, "Nah." How is PD working out? What's PD all about? So that's how I ended up on peritoneal dialysis because
Yeah.
I ran out of arms. And I said, when I
Right,
run
right.
out of arm, I'm gonna go to PD. And that's how I ended up on PD because they wanted to put a graft in my thigh. And I'm like, guess what's gonna happen? Aneurysm.
Aneurysm.
So
Aneurysm, yeah.
we're not doing any more grafts anywhere. So yeah, I'm sorry. I feel like I'm talking a lot. Am I talking a lot?
Listen,
No, it's
that's
fine.
like
It's your story. But
it's like lightning striking. This they say lightning don't strike the same place twice. That's lightning striking over and over and over
that's
again with this aneurysm
Yep.
stuff.
wow, really? It's
But
incredible.
but
So I've got
it only started happening with the grafts. It didn't happen
okay,
the
okay.
fistula. Yeah. So if you see my
Lasts a
picture
long
with
time.
the bumpy arm, my fistula, I had it redirected like 3 times. So
Okay.
just because you have those bumps on your arm, you can keep that fistula, but you need to let them go
Right.
back in there and redirect it so that you can keep using it. So the bumps don't
Mm-hmm.
mean you have aneurysms. They just need to
Mm-hmm.
redirect the flow. But if you don't let them
Right.
redirect the flow, that sucker will bust and you will be up out of here.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You will be going to
I've
see the Lord.
That's no
So
lie. That's no lie. Yeah.
people
I've I've
people
had
you
oh my
gotta get it
gosh.
redirected. Yeah, you gotta get it
Amen.
redirected.
It's serious.
Yep.
It's serious. I I know or I knew a warrior. He's passed away who had problems with that, and he's passed away. So it is very serious. You're right.
Yes,
So
I know of
so it
two
started.
people
It
too.
started with the graft. You know two people as well. Wow.
Yes.
So it started with the graft, and you said you had your fistula on for a long time, and then you had to go to another arm for the fistula. So
Hmm.
2 fistulas, is that right? Okay.
I had, yes, 2 fistulas and probably like, let me see. No, 3 fistulas. One,
Okay.
two,
Because they had to do. They
three.
had one of the upper part of the arm.
Oh no, this was a graft. This
Okay.
was a
Okay.
graft.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
All right.
sorry. So
Cool.
what look, let me count. One, two fistulas,
All right.
and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 grafts.
All right. 5 grafts. So I guess my question is, I'm just trying to understand this, and I'm not blaming anybody because sometimes it's just your body reacting. But it
Yep.
were they trying to stick you, and was it because of the cannulation? Because they were sticking you, and they weren't, again, I'm just trying to understand how that can happen. I don't know that I've ever heard of somebody so many so many times. That's just
So I
wow.
think for me personally, it is my body does not metabolize the material the graft is made out of. It does not
Right.
mix well. I don't care who
Hmm.
was sticking me because trust me, I've been doing this a long time. I know who can stick and who can't. And I'm not gonna call y'all
Right.
names
You'll
today. No,
speak
I'm
up.
just playing. But I mean, I know like who's good at it and who's not good at it. I know where they tell you to
Hmm.
go. I know where you went last time or whatever. But I think for me personally, it's just the way. Like when I get a new access, even if you move around, if it's a graft, that blood's gonna pool and I'm gonna get an aneurysm. It's just something about it. It's
It's
just
just your
something
body.
about it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. It's
Hmm.
it's just my body and that over time. I don't know. Maybe that's what
Hmm.
was God's way of telling me just to go to PD.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know what? God speaks to us mysterious ways. So that may be just a
Oh,
sign that he was giving you, you know?
Mhm.
yes,
And so
yes,
now you're on PD.
yes.
Now you're on peritoneal dialysis. And tell me how that's going and what you like and what benefits
Hmm.
that you have over hemodialysis. Tell me a little bit about
That would
that.
be that would be my route too, just so for the record. Like I've kind
Oh,
of
okay.
researched. That's what I would do
Okay. Yeah.
if
So you're interested in PD as
If you were
well.
to do dialysis, Leon, you're saying that's what.
yeah,
Hmm.
my father-in-law had did that before he had passed away a couple years ago. But
Okay.
I mean, with me still having years to work, I think that would benefit me
Right.
best
Yeah.
in what I'm trying to do. So, but yeah, tell
Right.
me more about it because I want to hear from somebody who's experienced and been through it.
Right. Okay. So before I say anything, another part of my reluctance with PD is I know several people that did it, but they all like passed away. So I was very reluctant. Like my
Okay.
high school boyfriend, he went on PD. He passed away a couple of years ago. My sister, her son,
Sorry to hear that.
my sister's friend, her son it's like my cousin. It was like everybody doing PD was passing away. So I'm like, wait a minute.
Wow. Yeah.
I know that I can live on hemo. You know, I've been doing it since
Mhm.
I was 14. I'm 50. So my reluctance was because I was basing my situation on other people's.
Right.
And I
Mhm.
had a mental block. I could not get over it. All of the nurses at Kaiser, they talked to me, the people at the PD unit, like I did so much research. And then I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. You know, people, those of us that have kidney problems, we got to remember it is not a one size fits all, you know,
Right.
type thing that
Good
happens.
point.
Thank, thank,
Mhm.
thank you, Tish, for reminding me about that. My friend Tish just told me, hey, dialysis is not one size fits all. You know, there's people have different things that they do and they go through. And I'm like, just because it happened
Mhm.
to them doesn't mean it's gonna happen to me. So sometimes you need, you know, people to give you that pep talk. You don't know everything. Um, so when I first
Yeah.
started PD, I'm gonna be honest with you, I did not like it.
All right. All
I
right.
mean, yeah, I didn't like it because I felt like it was cutting into my time, you know, like being going out and doing different things. But it's totally the
Restricted on the
opposite.
trip.
It
Mhm.
just requires more planning. That's all it requires is more plan. Okay, for instance, some people do 12 hours. Some people do 10. Some people do 11. I only do 9. And I don't make any
Wow.
urine. I don't have any, yeah, I don't have any kidneys of my own. I don't have my native kidneys. I told you they got taken out and all the transplant kidneys are gone. So I thought doing 9 hours was a lot. Okay. I'm just telling you how much I didn't know. I was like, dang, I got to do 9 hours every day on hemo. I only did 9 a week. I went 3 hours Monday, Wednesday, Friday, sat in a chair. Guess what? I got on TikTok and found out people were on PD for 12 hours. I was like, okay, let me stop complaining
Right.
Mhm.
because I'm
Nice.
only doing that.
Mhm.
For some
Yeah.
reason, for some reason, I thought 9 was a lot. So that was, you know, God humbling me because once I got on TikTok and I saw people doing 12, I shut up. I realized 9 is not that many. So I'm doing 9 hours every night. And what I like about PD is I'm in control. Like if I'm gonna go to a concert or if I'm gonna go somewhere and I know I'm gonna come home late and I don't want to hook up or whatever, I can do manual treatments throughout the day. I can do 4 manuals or 2 manuals and then cut down my hours. So I'll just let my unit know, like, hey, I'm not gonna be able to do 9 hours because I'm gonna be out. But I'm gonna just do 5 hours. Can you give me a program with only 5 hours and I'll do 3 manuals? And then they'll be like, okay, we'll just adjust your program. And see, it just requires you to think ahead. And I'm not real
Okay.
good
Okay.
on, you know, thinking ahead and prior planning. Now let's talk about hemo. If you want to go to Hawaii and you're on hemo, because I've been to Hawaii, I dialyzed in Hawaii. So what I would do is I would go on dialysisfinder.com. I would find the unit closest to where I was going to stay. I will call the unit myself and I will say, hey, I'm going to be in your area this time, blah, blah, blah. Do you have a chair? I would find the chair myself. And then they say, yeah, have your social worker contact us. I would give that information to my social worker at dialysis and let them pick up the baton and run with it. But I would always initiate it myself.
Okay.
So
Okay.
when you go out of town, your chair is there. But if you want to go somewhere and they don't have a chair, then you got to start scrambling for places. And sometimes it could be 25 miles away. It could be 30 miles away. So that's the disadvantage with hemo. You got to fight for a chair wherever. And if it's like a holiday, if it's 4th of July, they may not have a chair for you. So guess what? You don't get to go on the trip.
Yeah.
So that's the thing with PD you don't have to worry about. So I'm excited about throwing this machine in a suitcase and going out of the country, because dialysis outside of the country is not covered by Medicare, so you have to pay.
Right.
So if you trying to go to Dubai, you're gonna have to pay like $8 billion because it's expensive. I already looked into it. To dialyze over there. But if you're on PD, you have all the different adapters and plugs, so you can plug in different countries. I would just check before I go, but that's the plan. So you just have,
right.
I feel like the flexibility is different. Now, the biggest difference I feel is going to be in how your body feels. Because remember, if you do in-center hemo, you're only going 3 days, right?
Okay. Right.
So you're only getting cleaned out by that high flux machine for 3 days. Now, I never cramped. I never got nausea, vomiting. Like, my cramping was like minimal because I control my fluid. I would only gain a kilo or 2 all the time. And so some people, they can't control their fluid. If you want to drink how much ever, you need to be doing PD. If you have a problem with fluid restriction, PD is for you, because you don't have to be like, okay, that's 16 ounces. 16 ounces is a pound. A kilo is 2.2 pounds. So if I drink 2 water bottles, that's basically a kilo. You see what I'm saying? I was measuring like that in my head all the time. I drank out of the same little 8-ounce cup so I could measure my fluid. So I'm a pro at measuring fluid. But then when I got on PD, they were like, you need to drink more because you're dehydrated. Like, my brain wouldn't even let me drink. That's the crazy part, because I had trained myself to stay in the little box.
A change. Yeah,
and only drink so much. And now they're like, oh, can you eat more potassium? And I stayed away from potassium because I could never get mine down. So now they're like, have some guacamole, eat an avocado. It's like, what? So that's the difference. I feel like if you're just starting dialysis, I think you probably feel better on PD because you're doing it every day. Now, there's also home hemo, so that's also an option. Let me just tell you, if I had to put needles in my own arm, I would never get on the machine. Never. I cannot stick myself. So shout out to all the warriors that are at home sticking yourself every day. And I definitely would not want to be sticking myself every day. I don't want to be doing hemo every day. No. No needles every day. None of that every day. The catheter in my abdomen is cool, and I could do that every day. You know, after being stuck with needles since you were 14, I feel like I deserve to be pain free for at least some of the time.
Amen to that.
No more needles. No more needles. And then one more thing is, with the high flux machines, you got to think about what that does to your heart. Also, a lot of people, when you number one, the machine is already doing a little bit extra to our hearts, if we're honest with ourselves. When you drink and you put that extra fluid on, your heart is expanding to hold that extra fluid. And then when you dialyze, your heart's like, okay, I'm going to go back. It's going to contract. But if you're abusing your
Mm-hmm.
fluid, you gaining 8 kilos, you doing extra treatments. Instead of going 3 days, you going 5. Your heart's just do, 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 expanding to try to hold that extra fluid. And one day your heart's going to get tired and it's not going to go back the
Mm-hmm.
way it used to. It's going to go back a little slower. And then it's gonna expand. And you had that weekend. You went on a cruise. You up 8 kilos, and then you do your extra treatments. It's gonna go back. And then guess what? One day, it decides it doesn't want to snap back like it used to, and that's how you get congestive heart failure. That's how you end
Mm-hmm.
up having chest pains, and you don't want that to happen to you because we're already like on borrowed time. Whether you're on dialysis or not, we're all on borrowed time. But you got to put yourself in a situation to win. So if you're overdoing it with the
Mm-hmm.
fluid and doing extra treatments, you just adding more on top of it. That to me, that's how you win. You got to control your fluid. Control your fluid. And that's what a lot of people have problems with is fluid control. It's fluid. I have been on the machine and I have seen people expire like right next to me. I remember
Mm.
somebody did that on my 30th birthday. I will never
Wow.
forget it. I was just talking
Really?
to
On your
her,
30th birthday?
and a few minutes on I will never, because it was my birthday. That's why I remember my 30th birthday.
Mm.
So
Mm-hmm.
if you've been on dialysis for a long time, you've seen people come and go, and we always not coming and going because we got a transplant. I remember when I got my transplant, I went to visit my unit, and somebody that I talked to, I'm sorry, I just thought about him. He just crossed my mind.
It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
When I
Okay.
came back, when I came back to say hi to Steve, Steve was gone. They were like, Steve passed. So in the time that I got my transplant, he had passed away, and I was just like, oh my God, I'm
Mm.
so glad I got out of here.
I'm so
I remember
sorry.
thinking, oh my God, I'm so glad I got out of here. I'm so glad I got out of here. And then when my kidney fell and I went back, I was like, oh my God, I'm back. I'm back on here. Now that's gonna happen to me. Oh my God, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Um, it's it's very heartbreaking, and I can only imagine what you may have gone. I'm sorry that that's part of your struggle, part of your journey. It's
Oh,
one of the
I'm
many
sorry.
reasons much
I,
admiration and respect.
I'm sorry.
So sorry.
I had not thought about him in 8 years. And in that second, I could see his face. I could hear him laughing. I could hear him teasing me and everything. Oh, rest in peace, Steve.
Mm.
Oh, boy, I'm sorry.
It's, I see Steve, the kidney nurse, he commented too. That's one of the unfortunate
No.
parts of his job is death. And I mean, I can only imagine, I know you develop a kinship with those individuals because you're going through the same plight and struggle. And then to know
Yeah,
that they're not there,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's got to be tough. I get it.
yeah. And another lady that I used to talk to all the time, uh, she just passed too, and I think that really did something to me. That is when I was like, okay, I got to do something different. Like when I got off work teaching, I would share my experiences with her because she used to be a preschool teacher. And we used to laugh and I would share my stories about what the kids had done. And then all of a sudden, like she
Okay.
wasn't there and they said, oh, she's in the hospital. And I didn't think anything of it because I'm like, oh, she gonna be back. And then she didn't come back. And after she didn't come back, I was like, okay.
She's looking
Now
back.
that really hit me. That really hit me because that's somebody that I used to like talk
A hit
to
different.
constantly. Yeah, I would bring her snacks that we could actually have. Okay, cheese popcorn. But I would bring her snacks and different things like that. And like to see her not actually there, I think that punched me in my gut. So at my unit, a lot of the people on my shift are younger, like were younger, like around my age, from 20 to 50. You know, it was younger people because we worked. And then we came at night. But then I started seeing
Mm-hmm.
this influx of people come at night that were like you know, like older, like, you know, really having health problems. And I was like, oh, what happened to the younger people that worked at night? A lot of them got transplants or went to different units, and like the climate of the unit changed. And if you really
Mm-hmm.
admit it, or if you're being honest, that does something to you. That's why I never
Sure it
ran
does.
on TTS, because the TTS people were coming in like wheelchairs, or coming in from the nursing home. I never ran on those days, because that's when the, you know, predominantly
Mm-hmm.
those people came, and I didn't want that to mess with my
Okay.
psyche. You know what I mean? I always went on MWF
Right.
with the young people who didn't want to give up their Saturdays, and then eventually it got harder to go in. If I'm being honest with you, it got harder for me to
Yeah.
go in there this year. It just was hard for me to go in, and I've been going there since I was 14. So it's like home. But this
Mm-hmm.
year, it got harder for me to go. In 37 years, I've never missed a treatment. I've never had an extra treatment or anything. If it was pouring down rain and I didn't feel like going, I went. You know, because I know the more dialysis
Very
you have,
diligent.
the better. If you want to get a kidney and your labs don't look right, or you miss treatments, you're not going to get one. So the more dialysis you have, the better. Whether you're trying to get a kidney or not, the more dialysis you have, the better. So I know it's tough. I mean, I know I'm preaching to the choir. If people on dialysis are watching this, I'm not saying that to you guys that you don't already know. But if I could tell you anything, control your fluids. Don't get don't skip treatments. Try hard not to have extra treatments. Take your binders. I mean, if you are like, if you can eliminate those phosphorus things from your diet, then, you know, kudos to you.
Right.
But I'm gonna have me a Pepsi at least once a month. Let's just be honest. I'm gonna have that Pepsi, or I'm gonna have some
Just
Captain
being
Crunch. I'm gonna
real.
put my milk in the freezer. But
Yeah.
I'm just being real. But I'm gonna
Uh-huh.
take my binders. If my doctor says take 3, I'm gonna take 6. If I know that it's something that's high in phosphorus. If I'm not even sure
Mm-hmm.
it has phosphorus, I'm gonna pop 2 more. You know, I'm always do that to keep it low. So those are the things you have to watch, because if your phosphorus builds up, you get that the plaque in your arteries, and it'll get blocked, and you'll end up having to have open heart surgery. I met somebody on TikTok that had that. So
Wow.
just in case you didn't know why
Mm-hmm.
you're watching your phosphorus, that's why you're watching it. Everything goes back to heart health. I don't think when people get on
Does.
dialysis, heart health is really not pushed the way it should be. They don't tell us
Mhm.
about
You're right.
how our heart is affected. So I think people
Mm-hmm.
really
And the way
need
the
to,
stress,
you
there's a
know,
lot of stress.
yes, yes. So just stress from daily life, and
Mhm.
stress from the machine. So
Mm-hmm.
Leon, if you are, or something ever happens to you and you do go on dialysis, I hope you can prolong it as long as possible. I would push you towards PD, because PD is a lot more gentler on the body. It's less stress on your heart. You know what I'm saying? So I would definitely push you
Mm-hmm.
towards PD. I don't want to
That's what
peer
I was.
pressure you,
No, that's
but
what I've heard. I mean, that's what I've
yeah,
heard. Just because your body is being cleansed daily, it's just more
yeah,
gentle on the body. My wife is in the medical field.
yeah.
She's actually performed a transplant surgery. I found out recently. She's general
Oh,
surgery, but she's done one
Wow.
before when she was in residency. She talked to me about it.
yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I've shared my story with Jared before. I've actually been fortunate. I'm stage 4, but
Okay.
there's no talks of dialysis right now for myself. I'm still doing pretty good. Not really restricted on my diet. I just try to watch my potassium and my sodium intake right now.
Yeah.
My other numbers are really good. White blood cell count numbers are still great. So for me, those numbers, I'm not functioning like somebody who's in stage 4, which is the blessing. And I think,
Yes.
I mean, even through your struggle, I see the blessing and silver lining because somebody who's on dialysis is not able bodied and spry as you are and jumping around and full of all this
Hmm.
energy. Some people have
It's
kind of let
inspiring.
dialysis take over them. Right. It is inspiring. So just knowing that, we are on our own, we are in our own race within this same race. Um, it just gives me a different perspective because I've never talked to somebody who's really been on PD and gotten a chance to understand what they're going through. Um,
Hmm.
but you've been through it all. You've been through PD. You've been, been in center. So now, it just gives me a different perspective on it and just more motivation. So
And do you know that I didn't even know that there were stages to dialysis because I just didn't know. I think I just found that out maybe probably like I think 7 years ago, probably. I didn't know there were stages to kidney failure. I mean, because when I woke
Hmm.
up, I had been like in like a little mini coma from being sick, and when I woke up, I was already on the machine. The catheter was in my chest, and I was
Right.
dialyzing. And so
Hmm.
I remember waking up and looking down, and I followed the tube and I saw the machine, and it was a nurse there. And she was like, "Oh, do you want me to go get your mother?" And I was like, "Yeah, can you go get my mother?" Because I didn't know what was happening. I was in ICU. So
Sure. That'd be
I woke up. Yeah, I woke up as in stage failure. So now to hear people like, "Oh, what stage are you?" I'm like, "Child, what stage?" I didn't even know there were stages.
I
I
never
woke
had
up
that
and it was,
chance. Yeah.
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 I, I never had the luxury of learning. Like people right now who are in stages, like if you find out your kidneys are like 50% or 30%, God bless you because you have an opportunity to choose. You have all these options. If you're so sick and they think they that you're past, you don't have those options. You start with hemo, and then after that, you have your. So that's what happened to me. I, almost died. Almost died. So my only option was hemo. There was no, well, let's give her the PD catheter. Let's let it heal. She could. No, my mom was like,
Hmm.
"Hey, start the dialysis now." It was that type of thing.
Right
So
now.
now,
Yeah.
yeah, if if you are in stages, you get to choose. So be, educate yourself, be aware, and make the right choice for you. Like, based on my story, I did what was right for me. Now you do what's right for you, but do something.
Hmm.
Like, don't know that your kidneys are failing and not do anything. Don't wait till they go out because when they go out all the way, they're gonna try to take you out. So don't get to that point to where you're like, vomiting blood and losing control and you end up in a coma. Don't do that. Now, mine did that to me, but I didn't know what was happening. It just happened all of a sudden, and I was rushed in. But if you know your kidneys are going out, do something. Don't wait till the last minute. Please don't wait.
wow, heed those.
Um,
Those are great words to heed. So
yeah, don't wait, please. I'm sorry. Am I talking too much?
no, no. I was
No,
reading the. I'm
no,
reading some of the
no.
questions in the comments.
I mean, yeah. Here's the thing, Liz. Is when when someone's giving wisdom and inspirational motivation, I'm going to let you talk.
Oh, okay.
You have you've inspired you've inspired me. I know that you and he's taken he's insight that you've given. One question that Steve's asked a couple of times, I just want to bring up. He's asking if you ever remember the the centers would reuse the dialyzers. It's there was a I'm
Yes.
not sure, Steve, maybe
Yes.
comments how long ago that
Yes.
was.
Let me tell you how long ago that was. I know how long ago it was. It was in the 80s. When I started
Okay.
dialysis in 1980
Okay.
86, there was a reuse
Mhm.
room. So they would go around to the machine. You would reuse your dialyzer. Oh, I don't know how many days. I want to say maybe 3 treatments. I guess maybe you kept it for a week.
Mhm.
And they had a person in the reuse room.
Okay.
They would take all the kidneys and they would like wash the kidneys or do whatever they did in the room, and you would use that same kidney. The kidneys were not like you didn't get a new one. It was the reuse room, but guess what? The kidneys were bigger. So I feel like you got better dialysis, but I'm not going to harp on that though. I'm not going to get on that. The dialyzer was much bigger than than the dialyzer you
Mhm.
have now. The dialyzer was
Right.
bigger. So I feel like back in the day when I
Interesting.
first
Okay.
started, you got better dialysis. Yeah, I said it. You got better dialysis with the bigger kidneys because it wasn't about money and giving you the tiny dialyzers and dialyzing you for 5.5 hours. I'm not gonna talk about that though, because that's a hot button
I'm not
topic
gonna
that a lot
talk
of people
about
don't want to
that.
get into. But yeah, they
Well,
reuse the
Right,
kidneys,
right.
not the
Steve,
tubing,
uh,
just the kidneys.
okay,
yeah,
Yes,
50.
Steve.
Nah,
Yes,
right. The
that's,
the
dialyzers.
that's,
Yeah.
that's
the reuse room. Dialysis has come a long way. Okay, we're not in the reuse room anymore.
yeah. This is all new for me. I didn't
So
even.
another person who's been another
Oh, he
person that
said.
you've inspired tonight is Izzy Black. I'm going to put her comment up here. So here we go. So Izzy has been she's and if I remember correctly, she has polycystic kidney disease, and she was
Correct.
Okay.
taken. If I remember well, forgive me if I don't know this, if I 100%, but she was to slow down the degradation of the PKD was
Ooh,
doing. I think that's the
okay.
story. Very anyway, she that tonight because she's still currently at around 23%
Mhm.
GFR, and she's still technically at stage. So she's showing some love right here with that she's like the education.
Thank you, Izzy.
All right, so I'm not embarrassing myself. Yeah, she did respond yes. So I have
You got it. You hit it right on the head.
my exactly my salt and pepper look isn't proving me wrong. My age.
So
So I
I've
did remember a lot.
actually shout out to all the people, especially Candace. Candace, if you're watching, thank you, Candace. I've learned a lot from different because I don't have enough followers to go live. I guess y'all don't like me that much. Y'all won't follow me. But anyway, I get on
I
other
do.
people's lives. I get on other people's lives, and then there's people who
Yes.
are on home hemo, people who do PD, so I can ask my
Hmm.
questions in those lives. I try to follow them when I'm not like out running the street, but I try to get on because the time zone is different. So I try to follow them so I can ask my questions and I can learn things about PD. So it's really been a blessing for me, like, to be able to do that because I thought everybody had the same machine as me, but now I see people have different machines. The machine that I have is like really small, it's more compact. It's not offered, I guess, in other areas because I see people with the other machine where you lay the bag on top and then you hook the other ones and
Yeah,
then you have the jug. I see people with that. I don't have that. Mine is like
my
really small.
father-in-law had
I
that
mean, it's
one.
small.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
my
I'm like,
father-in-law had that. Huge.
yeah. So I'm learning a lot. That's really what I got on TikTok for, was really to learn. And people say, well, you need to make a video. So that's how I started making videos. But I've
Well,
learned a lot
speak,
just by watching other people. I'm sorry.
and I got to give out. Uh, I got a lot of respect for people on TikTok that I've gotten to know. Of course, Candace that you just mentioned, Melanie, there's Veronica that I've interviewed on the show. So many good people
Oh
that I've
yeah. Hey,
met
Veronica.
from
Mm-hmm.
TikTok. So,
Yeah.
yeah. And just recently, though, speaking of TikTok and videos, you were pretty candid in regards to showing your scars on a TikTok video I watched, and I thought that said a lot about your character because that can be kind of a vulnerability, and you opened up and you showed
Absolutely.
that. What made you feel
Let, let,
to doing that
let,
alive or
let me tell you what made me do that. I think her name is Jeannie. Is it Jeannie Button? Jeannie?
yes, Jeannie
Um,
Button, right? Yes.
okay, so I was on a live with Jeannie Button, and I think you were there too. I don't know what happened, but something
Mm-hmm.
happened, and somebody reported her for having the bandages on her arm. Because if you're on hemo, when they take
Yes.
the needles out, you got to put the pressure on it. And somebody said she was, I don't know if they said she was suicidal or something had happened, but I just
Mm-hmm.
happened to get on and
Mm.
yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
somebody falsely reported her. But what really got me is it, and it pissed me off. Like it happened to me. Somebody had talked about her fistula, like they were she got teased because of her
Gosh.
fistula, and I
Mm-hmm.
think that sent me through the roof. And I told her,
Mhm.
I said, I'm gonna make a video just for you. And I tried to tag her, but I couldn't. She had her preferences set up where I couldn't. But she was the inspiration for
Okay.
that video. But I have had several people
Yeah.
tell me that
Okay.
I have really high self-esteem. Listen, when you have almost died as many times as I have, you don't care what anybody thinks about you. I'm like, who gonna check me, boo? It's nothing you could say to me. It's nothing you know
I
what?
love it.
I'm so transparent. I will take this wig off and show y'all these missing edges. I mean, I don't care what you think. That's how I am with it. I don't care what you think about me. I will have a different wig on tomorrow and I'm going to still be cute. I'm going to take the wig off.
Right.
I'm going to still be cute. I'm going to
Yeah.
still be on dialysis. You got to think that about yourself. You probably don't think I'm cute. I don't care when I tell you I don't care. So I don't care what you think about me. So having the bumps on my arm, I used to use my arm to teach the kindergartners colors because it turned pink. So we use my arm to learn brown and pink. Okay, that's
Really.
how much I don't care. When I was in the store, if somebody said, "Hey, what's wrong with your arm?" Guess what I did? I used that as an educational
Teachable
opportunity.
moment.
I
Teachable
was
moment
like,
right there.
"Oh, okay, you know what? I'm on dialysis. I have kidney failure. Blah blah blah." I would
Mm-hmm.
tell them my story, and then I'm a Christian, so I'm gonna hit you with the teachable moment, and then I'm gonna hit you with my Jesus moment. So then I'm gonna use that to witness to you too. So it's like I'm gonna hit you with the boom boom, the double whammy. So if you want to know about it, okay, here we go. I'm gonna tell you, it's Pandora's box.
Mhm.
I'm gonna open it up, and I'm
So,
gonna change your life. I'm gonna change your life one way or
you
the
said
other.
what's your home church you go to? Because I got somebody who got on Facebook and says you go to their church. He's a good.
I
He's my.
do, friends.
He's
Friendship Baptist Church in Yorba Linda. Gang, gang, friendship. That's
so
my
he's
church.
my. So Jared, this is crazy. He's our school resource officer. He's following on Facebook. His name is Brandon Weathersby. He
Oh,
lives here in Georgia
Hey,
now. So
Brandon.
yeah, Brandon tagged her and said, "Hey, I know her. She goes to my
what a
church.
small
Liz, she's the
world.
best." So
Oh,
Wow, what a
Brandon. I
small
love
yeah, I got her.
world.
Brandon. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
Brandon.
look. Oh, yeah, look. Brandon knows all about me. Hey, Brandon.
Yeah, so he's a good guy. But yeah, he was just saying that, and I mean, I love it. Like I'm learning. This has been really super informational. Like honestly, just seeing it, and I love your transparency and just you putting everything out there. Like
Oh,
we
yeah.
need to hear it. So I mean, hey, Jared,
Yep.
she's definitely co-host material for sure because she bringing the energy
Yes,
tonight.
she is. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. Definitely. It's been a
Yeah,
pleasure,
so
honestly, Liz. And Oh my gosh, it's been nice. It's been a great show tonight. Wow.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me. Thank you so much. I'm sorry. I feel like I was talking a lot. Sorry, y'all.
And listen, it's about getting your story out there. So I mean, hey,
Yeah,
he gives
it's
you the
your time.
opportunity to really put it out there. So yeah.
Okay. So
What
if
do you
that
got?
black
Yes,
unicorn is
indeed.
out there, you guys, and when
Let's
when
find
when
it.
I say black unicorn, that could be any race. I'm not referring to race, but that's just what you call it
Right.
because something that's like in the invisible
Right.
realm is
That one of
like a
one.
black unicorn.
Yeah,
Right.
that
Yeah.
one of one right
So
there.
that's
Right.
that's what I'm looking for. Somebody
I hear
who
you.
I won't need any desensitization. Because you know, when they called me yesterday and said, since I don't have any accesses, they will have to put a line in my neck. I was like, immediately, no, no.
Yeah, you've been there
I'm
before,
not
so you
getting
know.
any more lines in my neck. Remember, they just took the hanger out a couple of months ago. So they would have to
Right.
put a line in my neck so I could get the treatments. And that like I was like, no, uh-uh. No, it's kind of like you're doing fine. You're doing well. You have energy. You're doing whatever you want to do. You're going out. You just enjoying life. And now all of a sudden, we want to put a line in your neck so you could get these treatments. That's going to lower your immune system and possibly make you sick before you even
Hmm.
get the kidney. Then after you get the kidney, you're gonna be sick again, and we're gonna have to keep giving you these treatments. We may put the line back in. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
that's what's gonna happen. I already know because I've already done it. So
So
it's
I
like
know I got this
it's
question.
Been through it. You're right.
I'm sorry. I really got a question for you. I really want to know because I shared with Jared. I had a person who was very close to being the match for me, and then that individual wasn't a really good friend of mine. Just some things from her health wouldn't have been ideal down the road. So for
right.
anybody like myself, for anybody who's going to be on this journey, maybe starting dialysis, how did you deal with those ebbs and flows and that up and down of being close? Me, because you've had a couple transplants now, but those initial times when you thought you were close and you didn't get it, how do you manage that? Just kind of from the mental aspect. Just
Uh
kind of talk to us a little bit about that, or just for
yes.
me personally too.
Um the first kidney, before I got my first kidney, I think I got 4 calls. Okay. So there's several types of calls you get. Once you get close, they just start calling you. Like you got to keep your phone on, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes you'll get calls and you'll jump up and you'll get ready and they'll say, we'll call you back. Those are the calls you never leave your house. You're still excited because you know it's close. So for me personally,
Hmm.
it didn't mess with my mental at all. It got me amped. Like, hey, I'm close. They call it. Okay. The one that kind of messed me up a little bit is when they said, okay, come on down to the hospital. I ran down there with my overnight bag. I'm taking pictures. This it. I had the gown on. I did the blood test. I'm like, next step is the gurney. They coming in for me. They coming in. And they came in and said, oh, Elizabeth, I'm sorry. The final cross match, such and such was
Wow.
better. Now that right
Wow.
there was like, okay, okay. Now that was a punch to the gut because I was like almost across the finish line. How I dealt with
Right. So
it
close.
is, I was close, but you know what? What doesn't kill you definitely does make you stronger because that's when I
Yeah,
realized, wait a minute, they call other people. You think they just calling you to come in. They're not always just calling you. They could
yeah.
be telling somebody else to come too. And when you get to the hospital and you get that final cross match, because you're turning in blood every month through your dialysis center, but they
Mhm.
got to get that final match. When that final match come in, somebody could inch you out. So what that did was it built me up to be like, okay, this might not be it. So every time they call me in my brain, I was like, this may or may not be it. Don't trip. This may or may not be it. So just, keep telling yourself it may or may not be it. But I always believe what God has for me is for me. So when it's
Absolutely.
my time, it's my time. It's my time to rap. Oh, I'm sorry, that song just hit me. But when it's your time, it's gonna be
I
your
love
time.
it.
It's gonna be your time. When it was my time, let me tell you, it was 3:13 a.m. I know the time. It was 3:13
You remember
a.m. That
the time.
that day, I had a bomb dialysis run. I told people at dialysis, if I got a kidney right now, it will be a good time. I have extra money saved in the bank. My labs are good. I'm dry. And that was so random. I left dialysis. I went by my mother's house. I said the same thing. Today will be a good day to, get a kidney transplant. Everything is like good. I went home. I ate a frozen Mama Celeste pepperoni pizza and I had a Pepsi. I know that's not regulation. Don't do me. And then I stayed up late. I went to sleep. The phone rang at 3:13. And when I got on the phone, she said, Elizabeth, we got a kidney for you. This is it. Now I knew nobody else was coming. That was it. And I was like, is it? Is it? Okay, this is not a drill. I hung up the phone. I called my mother. I was like, now, remember you guys, it was 3:13. I called my mom, ring, 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 ring. My mom was like, hello. I was like, Mama, you up? My mother was wide awake. She said she said
Did
she did not go to sleep. My mother was wide awake. My mother got to my house in 5 minutes.
Wow.
I know she should have got a ticket, but she got to my house in 5 minutes. So I said all that to say,
Wow.
when it is for you, it is for you. When they start calling you, don't get discouraged, because that means even if it's a false alarm, within the next like 10 days or so, it comes up. I mean, it comes up when it gets to the point where they're calling you, just get ready. Just get ready. Make sure your money's in the bank. Your copay, I think mine is $1,600 and $1,600.31. Yeah, I got it down to the dollar amount. Have your copay in the bank. Have your prescription money in the bank. Make sure you got money to pay your rent, your mortgage, just in case your disability don't kick in. Make sure you have all of that. Oh, and then one more thing, because I didn't know this. Okay. And this might not even matter anymore, because I think I found this out from you, Jared. When you're on Medicare, your Medicare is going to go away in 3 years. So this is how it used to be. Now the law's changing, okay? When you pay for the prescriptions, eventually, when your Medicare goes away, you're going to be paying for it. So if you say, oh, give me the non-generic, I want the real medicine. When your Medicare went away and you start paying for it, if you can't afford it, you are going to be in a conniption. Like if you haven't saved the money.
Mm-hmm.
So now, thank God, they changed the law. It's not going to matter. They're going to cover it. That is the biggest change, because before I took generic. So I didn't take the real medicine. I took generic both times. And so when it came time when the Medicare was about to go away, guess what happened? I went back on dialysis. So I never experienced it. Isn't that crazy? I went back on dialysis right before my 3-year mark. I was back on. But if I had to pay for it, I probably would have been broke, because one of the side effects from the transplant, I ended up having when I got pneumonia PCP, like 6 months after I got my second kidney, I had to be on this medicine that was only made by one pharmaceutical company, and they could charge whatever price they wanted, and it was not covered by my insurance. So I was paying like almost, get ready guys, $500 for one medicine.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
That medicine was like almost $500 a month. So yeah, so you shouldn't have to get a transplant and ruin your credit and not be able to pay your pay
for
pay
your
your HOA and, start struggling
Mhm.
with your bills and being like, okay, am I going to pay this? Am I
Right.
going to pay that? But I got to, you know what? This medicine comes first. Sorry, God, I can't tithe because I got to
Hmm.
pay for
Right.
this medicine. I mean,
I need to be alive.
it puts, yes, exactly.
Right.
Your priority is that medicine. That medicine was like almost $500 a month. I couldn't get any medical financial assistance or anything. So it's like you don't want to get a kidney and like be broke and try to recover financially because you wanted to get this kid. See, that's the stuff they don't tell you. Nobody even gives you this could happen.
Right.
I'm not saying it's gonna happen to you, but I'm just telling you some side effects could cause you to need to get some medicine that you got to pay for, and you're not going
Mhm.
to be prepared for
Right.
it because they could charge whatever they want. That's the side of it that I did not
Whatever
know
they
about.
want.
Yep. So I'm not saying it's going to happen to you, but I just want to just let you know so you can be aware. Once you get a transplant, the side effects are different for different people. You may not
Mhm.
have anything happen to you. God bless you. But just in case
Hope
you
that's the case.
do,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I pray that's the case for you. But just in case you do, I want you to know that number one, you can recover from it.
Be
You know
prepared.
what I'm saying? Because you see me, I'm still sitting here. You can recover from it. It's not over till God says it's over. So you got to stay positive. You got to stay prayerful always. I cannot say that enough. Positive, prayerful. I don't like when things keep starting with the same letter like that, but that's going to help you remember positive and prayerful.
Positive and
No
prayerful. I
matter
like
what. Even if the doctor come
Love
in
it.
and says, well, we did all we can do. It looks like blah, blah, blah. You cannot put that in. You got to just put that somewhere because you're going to stay positive and
Believe
prayerful
in God.
because you going
Mhm.
home, right?
Yeah.
Remember, you going
Mhm.
home. So you can't be like,
Right.
they said, don't grab your phone on TikTok and start saying, well, they don't do that. Do the prayer first. Stay positive and prayerful first. And then get on your social media if you feel like you need to. But the positive and
You
prayerful
did a
part
video
always,
recently, not too long ago.
yeah. Don't
You did a
complain.
video recently about
Try
not complaining. I remember that. Yeah, I
try
remember that.
try not to complain. But you know what? Candace checked me because it is a difference between complaining and venting. There's nothing wrong with venting, but don't stay in that place. I am in the mindset I don't do anything that's not going to be helpful to my situation. If I called you and said,
Mhm.
"Oh, guess what? My fistula, this happened. It infiltrated. They stuck me with 3 needles and blah blah blah." And even after I do that, guess what? I'm gonna go back the next time and they're gonna stick me again. That's not going to change my situation. So I don't vent to other
Yeah.
people. I vent to the person who can change it. And that's in prayer. Me venting
And
to you is not going to change my situation. But me praying and saying, God,
yeah.
this situation is tough. Lord, when I go in there on Friday, don't let them have to stick me with that third needle. Please, God, don't let them do that. To me, that's going to give me peace.
Right.
Talking to you is not going to give me peace. I'm venting when I talk to you. When I talk to God, I'm going to get
Mhm.
peace. You're going to pat me on the back and say, oh, well, next time, but that's not going to give me peace. When I pray, it gives me
Right.
peace. That's the difference. Positive prayer, peace. There we go. I'm in full triple P right now. That's
Love
that's
it.
what's gonna do it. That's what's gonna do it. So
Well, thank
I mean that's
thank you,
that's
thank you,
that's what's worked for
thank
me.
you, Liz. Well,
You're
I think
welcome.
that I can take that. I can take that tonight and remember pos be positive, and I'll
Prayerful
take
and
that.
peace.
And yeah. Mhm.
Yeah,
I
positive
love it.
prayer,
I'm
peace,
gonna
triple
take
P.
that and I'll remember it. And 3 Ps, I like it. It's gonna be easy to remember.
And that applies in any situation. Any situation. You don't have to be on dialysis. You don't have to have kidney problems, to need to think positive, to need to pray so you can have peace. You know, with everything that's going on, that applies in any situation. So just want to share that
Yes.
too. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm talking a lot. Am I
So
talking a lot?
Mhm.
yeah, playing, and I know that other people have been inspired tonight, and so about that at all is on you. And the thing that I've learned, because I have, that you never quite know whom you're going to. And tonight you may have inspired many people. I know you have. And the replay, anybody who watches this after it's live will be inspired as well. And so I have notes about you inspiring people.
Oh, thank you.
Anyway, so I want to thank you for coming on. Thank you, Leon. Thank you very much for coming on as well. I appreciate you both.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me too.
You're welcome. May God bless you both. I wish you both, positive vibes, peace and blessings, and I'll continue to I'll be able to clips and TikTok with your blessings.
Oh yeah, sure.
All right. Well, thank you both. All right. Have a good evening.
All
All
right,
right.
bye. Bye, you guys.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye-bye. All right. So my internet is wired. I've got it connected to my wires, but for some reason my internet's a little choppy right now, so I apologize. Hopefully it doesn't. I'm still able to convey her message tonight. I'm thankful for Leon who's come on tonight. Thankful for all of the comments and for all the shares. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Please share this. Please don't be stingy, and let's get this story out there about Liz and what she has shared tonight. It's certainly been very inspiring for me, and I hope it's just as inspirational and inspiring for you. God bless. Thank you. That outro. There it is. Peace.
Ooh, like LeBron though, or like Lonzo. Ooh, I'm a baller, yeah, shot caller, yeah. They love me, you can't touch me, nah, can't trust me. I'm too lucky. Look at me, look at you, what you see, what you do. Baby, please think it through, drink it up, enjoy the view. MVP on my crew, Nike on my shoes. Might be sipping booze, slightly feeling loose. If I want it, then I have it.
All right. Thanks, guys. Peace.